How's it going, Cole? Thanks for being here as always. Appreciate you. And first, as usual, too. All right. Today we continue with our big guy. I wish there was something like exciting to do, but today is glazing. So it's a very. I'm not going to call it boring. I'm going to call it meticulous technique. It requires patience and it requires time. So we're going to see how much we can do. We're gonna also try to do the non-metallic metal on the Aquila and other filigree areas, so that we can have like something to do while the other stuff is essentially paint drying. So we're going to be working on that today. The painting scene. So where we were is last time we established the values of where the light is going to be, and now we have to blend those sections in, and it's going to involve layers and layers of in between with black, with the initial transition color. So let's start with that. And essentially, all we're doing here is, if you can see where I am, is we're going to start at the seam line there with a heavily watered down black, where it just barely, if you can see it on my fingernail, leaves some paint there. So doing that, we're going to layer over the seams of where the light is coming from so that it dulls that transition. And the more that we do that, that's how we achieve that blend that we're looking for. But it's going to take a while. Take a while to do. So we got to do it to a bunch of areas. There are some pretty obvious ones. There. Over here. The places that we had already hit before. One piece of yeah. We keep it. It's simple. In fact, it's extremely simple. The issue is, like I said, not super interesting. An effective and tedious technique. What did I say I was going to call it? Meticulous? But it's true. And this is a perfect time to kind of do a little zoning out, relaxing. But the payoff is huge. Yes. The payoff is huge, as long as you're willing to go that far. And most people are not. That's why we do other techniques like the chipping style, which is sort of like this, but with the stipple. And the illusion effect comes from the fact that there's many little dots. Yes, a lorecast would be something perfect for something like this. Almost like that's what these are for. Okay, you can see it starting to blend in there. There's a little less of an obvious line, and we got to keep pushing that. This song is, we're back to the Shin Megami Tensei mix, the Mega Mix that we were listening to before, just because I like it, but this song is very System Shocky. If anyone knows what System Shock is, with Shodan. There's another technique that you could use for something like this, and that would be like wet blending. But that's a video for another time. There we go. Looking a lot better. Keep it going on the other sections. And by the way, we've only done the front so far. We haven't even done the back. I'm going to be a little speedier with the back, but the front is where I'm going to show you how to do this. If you're wondering, this is usually the way when you see those like really photorealistic or really fancy model showcases on like Instagram. This is the technique that they're using almost 100% of the time. But this is also why we did the initial placement of the light, because it makes this part so much easier to accomplish when you've already established where it's going to go. This is sort of, if anybody was here for the, if they're lurking or whatnot, if you were here for the cell shading tutorial that we did a couple streams ago, this is the exact opposite of that. In fact, it's the quintessential opposite of that. The key also here too is really keeping an eye on the consistency of your glaze. Using a wet palette is definitely recommended for this. Oh, I think that leg is getting pretty close. Gotta keep pushing it. With such a high contrast color like this, it may take not an extraordinarily long time, but a really diligent amount of time. To make that seam line disappear. What's going on, Ozzy? Thanks for joining. We're blending, so it's super chill. It's so you're not late to anything. But yeah, no, it's turning into a cool effect. It just like you've seen. I've spent the last, how many minutes are we on? 17 minutes doing little feathering with the glaze. But it will get there. Yeah, Ozzy's never late. It's always time. It's always on time on this channel. But we're definitely doing a hands-on tutorial of the most boring, but also yet somehow the most effective technique in this painting realm. There are ways to kind of cheat, and one of them is to do this sort of as like a if anybody knows Zenithal highlighting or slap chop. No, this is that Shin Megami Tensei mix still. It's that same mix that I did for the pumpkin guy. I just like it. I didn't realize how much I was gonna like it. Let's take a look at where we are with that leg. So see that seam getting more and more faded? It's going better. It's getting better. Slap chop, exactly, yeah. So slap chop is like the where you dry brush the white very heavily and then throw some contrast paint on there. You could, in theory, do something very similar to that with this, with contrast paint, as long as it's thinned down sufficiently. Because contrast paint has more pigment, And it may take a little less time to do this, but you have to be more careful at the same time. Because you can get a little hasty. What's going on, V? My guy, thanks for showing up. Always good to see you. We're doing blending. Yeah, he's a big guy. So you can see here, the first stream, we did this leg in just the colors that it was going to be. And then now we're glazing the ends of those transitions so that they blend more with the glazing technique. Problem is, like I said at the beginning, it just takes a long time. And it's not exactly the most entertaining, but the effect is fantastic. Yeah, he's a big guy. Definitely a big guy. But as you can see, already sort of paying off. We're getting a nice sheen on that leg, which is ironic because we're painting black to make it shiny. I'll make sure that I'm not missing any obvious places here. And sort of the, especially with black armor, like this that we're going to be doing, the peaks are almost more important than the blends here, because like the highest highlight is going to make it seem like it's the metallic. It's not going to be the transition, because think of it this way: if you do the transition and it's very obviously transition, it's not going to look like black armor. It's going to look like silver, which is not what we want. But if it's black pretty much all the way until it gets to that peak and there's a very slight transition, then it looks like, you know, black armor. This glove is actually turning out as a pretty good example. Like, see how it's getting dark at the bottom? Turn this thing up. Here we go. Get in there. Ooh, this glove is actually turning out right here. That might be the last layer right there to really make that seam go away for that side. Pretty close. You see, especially on the helmet, see how that little seam line is getting thinner and thinner? The sharper that looks, while at the same time the edges of it look kind of fuzzy, the more it looks like metallic. See if I can zoom in. But see how that's working? As the glaze works, that seam down the center of it where the light is hitting is getting more and more pronounced, but the edges are fading away, but not going away. They're beginning to look more and more fuzzy. That's exactly what we want. There we go. And the next thing is that when you do the areas that are surrounding the metallics, the more that they contrast against it, also helps with the metallic effect. Good morning, Yoichi. Thanks for being here. We're doing a very large model. This one's much larger than normal. And it's got lots of more detail than usual, which makes it more fun. But it's definitely the most boring technique, as I was describing to Ozzy V. Cole, because it's just blending right now. It's worth it, but it takes a long time. I hope that your project is going well. The one you unfortunately lost a little bit of progress on. Hope that that's turning out okay. Okay. Oh man, this is very Dracula music right here. The organ piano. Oh yes, thank you, Iuchi. I am making another cool piece. I hope so. I hope it turns out cool. Right now, the scheme of this. In fact, actually, let me show anybody who didn't see it on the last time. While we wait. The scheme of this one is going to be very much like this. So we're going for a spooky flame scary guy. That's what it's going to end up being like at the end. And it's going to have both this white lighting and red lighting on the opposite side. So it's going to end up being like that. The hardest part is the beginning, when we have to establish all the values first. But this is what we're going to go for. It's going to be very scary. But it might take a long time. Yeah, evil laugh. I don't know that I could do an evil laugh. Especially not to this music. This is like Earthbound. V can do it. It's gonna look really good. I hope so. At least I hope so. I'm gonna try my best so that everyone has fun. Okay, we're getting there. I think that next I'm going to take a short break from the glazing here while this is getting blended, and I'm going to move to the Aquila at the top just so that we have kind of another thing to look at, so that we don't spend the entire stream doing just these like 6 places. Let me just get one more layer of the glaze on there. On the main areas. And then we'll move to that. And then we're gonna use our handy dandy makeup sponge for that, because we already know what that technique is like for that silvery metallic. Nosferatu. What about Nosferatu? The Willem Dafoe movie, Nosferatu? Yeah, Nosferatu. Exactly. That's right. I guess in what would you maybe V or Yoichi can answer this. What would like be the illustration equivalent to doing a technique like this? Uh-oh, is my stream lagging, or is it better now? It's smooth right now? Okay. I don't know why it does that. Oh, I was asking, maybe you or Yoichi can answer, but for like the illustration equivalent of something like this, where it's just like, you gotta do 1,000 layers of this before it turns out the way you want it to. OBS. I've heard that some people recommend, what is it, Streamlabs instead, but this is the only one that I've found is like free across the board? No? Let's do, okay, there's that. Let's do our, oh, hardware. It's, Streamlabs CPU killer. That's what I've also heard. It's a MacBook Pro 2025. So it's the M4. It does well enough. Like I'm streaming on 3 different places at once right now. Browser on mobile. using a Nokia phone to stream on. Yeah, the M4 Trip is great. I haven't had any problems with it really on anything, and I doubt that it's the hardware that's doing the lagging. I bet it's the my internet, because I'm not streaming hardwired. I'm streaming on via Wi-Fi, so I'm sure that's also contributing to when that happens sometimes. I'm just getting my makeup sponge ready, because we're gonna go to the top of the Aquila here, just to get some variety. There we go. What's kind of cool about this is that it naturally produces that seam that we're looking for, just for the fact of its like of its shape and the sponge naturally not getting into the other areas. Wait, is it still lagging? Or did it finish? Finish. When I mean like, did it stop lagging as much? On my end, I see that I haven't dropped any. Oh, I see. Okay, now we're doing some peak highlighting. Fairly obvious areas where you do that. It's essentially the spikes. Here, let's see how well this turns out. So there we go. And then, let's see. To make that more apparent, you essentially do the opposite sides of each spike with the original base color. Let's see. Here we go. Let's make it very contrasty. So we'll go back here, and taking our brush, now that we have caked on that initial glow, we establish the metallic effect by going like this. So go to the exact opposites of the reflection sides and make it completely dark with the original base color like this. Try my best to not hit using the side of the brush. But see that stark contrast? That's what we need to really, really, really push. And that's on each one of these little spikes. There we go. So that top one, and then at the end, we're gonna put the extreme highlight with whites down the middle. And we'll do that last. I really like this song. I don't know why, this is just, it's so spooky. That's coming along. Do the next one. Just a little bit so I have some more wiggle room with positioning here. V, how was Call of Duty? If you managed to play it. Is it good? Good. I actually haven't played one of those in a while. Six hours. Dang. And yeah, Zombies was the last time when I played COD last. It was a Zombies game. Okay. And then we're gonna add some more lighting effects by doing the tertiary lighting in places like over here. So we have the main light sources coming through, then secondary reflections coming like over here, not all the way up. Things like the sides of the skulls here. Hey, thank you for following, River. If you haven't said anything in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Why aren't my alerts working? I'm sorry. I just realized that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I saw it on my activity feed, but it didn't come up on the screen. I need to fix that. I'm a bad host. Thankfully, everyone's giving me a lot of slack on that because I'm also a bad painter at the same time. So it's not too much of a loss. Okay. But I like the way the Aquila's coming so far. Let's push some more of that. Does anybody like that? Yeah, the song is good. Does anybody like the paint swishing and the tapping sounds? I got that as a message. That was good ASMR. And I hope it's true. Good. I don't have to noise gate it or anything. It's my equivalent of the, I think Cole said it before, that's my equivalent of the Bob Ross when he says, and beat the devil out of it. And he smacks his giant paintbrush on the bottom of the easel. Oh, that's a good idea. Genuine engagement. It's a very good idea. There we go. Yeah, see? And then we have the drink water. I don't even know if that came through. Maybe. Yeah, it would just make it a super low, super low award for paint shaking, or for the cup swishing. A few more obvious places. And then we're going to do some peak highlighting just so that we can ensure that this has the effect that we want it to have. Brush flip. I can't do a brush flip. Like if you mean like a twirl or something, I don't know how to do that. Although I probably should learn, because that would be a good That would be a good, be a good reward. Okay. And there's even room for this to get really dark. This. I'm not painting it all the way black, but I am glazing it. Go. This is gonna be a very shadowy piece. Very, very shadowy. But yeah, flip it into the air and catch. That's the thing. I could probably do that. Let me see if I can do it once and without getting paint all over myself. No, hang on. Something like that. It needs to do a full flip though. Okay. Now let's add the white accents just for that. Need to uncap this first. And then we can go back to what we were doing with the glazing to kind of check up on that once this is highlighted a little bit more. Need a smaller brush. There we go. And we only use the peak white on the silver metal because silver is a very white metal. If you go to if you ever have like a pure silver object or a picture of it, and you like put a dropper to it, it does have enough white in it to have that peak white. But black armor does not, so we're not going to use any peak white in its highlighting, only higher shades of gray. See that? You're getting metallic. Man, I wish my camera. I promise. I promise I will figure out how to make the focus on my camera be consistent instead of saying, "Oh, let's focus on the back of his hand," and not the the big model. I have been tweaking it. Get out of here, bot. Joy. There we go. So see how that peak white pushes it to a metallic state? Go. And then some, not everywhere, but in some select little areas here. There we go. And over here. There we go. I think that clinches it. The only place that we could possibly is the very edges of the side here. And then I'll show you the contrast between the done side, the metallic side, and the not finished metallic side. And if you notice, I'm only doing the peak white on this side, not this, because this side is not catching it. That's what's going to give it that effect. There we are. Non-metallic metal Aquila. Keep. There's actually one more seam. There we go. Now let's go to the places that need to be darker. Make sure they stay dark. Sketching the brushes in the background. That needs a little bit. Fill right here. Okay. It's another one of those times where you don't want to overdo your effect because in some cases less is more. I think that we've reached that state here. Or at least very, very close. I think we're gonna do one little thing. We're gonna push the reflection on the internal little pylon things just here. Just a little bit. Because they are a flat surface, technically, they would have the highest refraction. There we go. That's better. And then we'll do a peak highlight on the little metallic skulls. Hey, thanks for following. I appreciate it. Another shark bro. I appreciate you. and great username. Thank you for the explanation. All right. I think we did the non-metallic metal Aquila very well. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's go back to the blending. On the bottom here, or on the legs and the arms, just so that we can get more uniform, and then we will move on to the other non-metallic metal pieces. Because I'm sure they're trying to pronounce it phonetically and not in the manner in which you described it. Like they're trying to pronounce it as if it's actually one word instead of an acronym. What does oomph mean? Actually don't know. Legitimately asking, I don't actually know what that is. Oh. I have always found Space Shark to be chill. He was actually my legitimate first follower and promoter on everything. He promoted me to pretty much almost everybody that is actually following me except for you. UV and Yoichi. Yoichi, I found on Twitch. Dinner time. Always a good time. As long as everybody who's hanging out in here with me is nice to everybody else, I'm happy. When we're in the paint zone, we're chilling. Absolutely. Big chillin'. Exactly. Love the good vibes in here. Okay. No problem. Always appreciate the lurking. That's all you followed. So hey, I don't. you can talk. If you don't want to, no problem. I appreciate you just coming to hang out. No matter what you do. Okay. I think. Last thing we're gonna do here is we are going to get the last little bits of these metallic trims. I know this seems wrong, but I am painting this part because this is not the black part. This is part of that acrylic decoration here. So it is a different metal. It's the metal that's on the top. But like I said, painting this as proper color will bring out the shine of the black below it, but not until it's all done. This is another trust the process situation. Another one of those dang old trust the process situations. Thank you. We're getting there. It just takes a lot of detail for the first parts. Something that we can do maybe as just a, you know what, we can do this. Let's do the base color. No, let's save that for later. Because I'm planning the jewel that's going to go right here in the chest piece. And I know it's going to be red, but I'm deciding kind of the pattern of it. Which is always fun. We doing jewels. There's a ton of them. So there's one right here, 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 here. There's jewels everywhere, and they're big, so they get to be really shiny. Okay, let's do. I'm going to do a little bit of the metallic highlights on this shoulder pad here, just so that we can get some interesting contrast going. And this is an interesting little shape here, because the curve is not normal. It's got so many facets in it. So we have to be careful on what we're deciding to highlight and what we're not deciding to highlight, especially for a metallic effect. Okay. And it actually seems easier than it is, because it's a fairly simple design here. Into a sleep playlist. That might be good. I'm glad that they're relaxing for you guys. Sorry, I was just fixing something. Slang for moolah, yeah. I have them all, so every single one of these streams is up on YouTube. The only problem is that after I upload them, the music's gone. So, because of copyright on YouTube. But they are all up on my YouTube channel in just the Twitch playlist. It's all of them. I think I'm missing I haven't uploaded the last one, and then of course there'll be today, because it takes about 4 hours to upload it afterwards because of the buffering. But they're all up there. Yeah. So they're musicless, but it's still me talking. Which, I get it. Nobody wants to hear. Okay, let's do a little bit of this. Let's see if this works. So this is where we are highlighting the Willa portion. Hey Jenna, thanks for coming. Thank you for joining us from France. And I know you said it last time, but happy birthday. Because I was only able to celebrate it with you for like those couple minutes last time you were here. Well, they're up. If you want to listen to them, they're all up. It's still Golem 40K on YouTube. French slang for money is la thune. That's cool. That's way cooler than moula. La thune. La moula. La moula. Listen, apparently I'm Unk status. Y'all are ruthless about that. It's because my first game system was the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I don't mean the N64 or the Super Nintendo. In fact, I still have it. Or I have one. Oh, I got it. Now I got to show you. Hang on. Y'all don't even know about this. How about this? And it works. I've got a reproduction cart. 151 games. Oh yeah. Look at it, listen to that sound. This is a video game. The sound? Oh yeah. Everybody remembers. classics. Oh yeah, this is the Nintendo Entertainment System. Hang on, let me get the controller for it. You may have, some people may have seen the controller from like this as a. Here we go. Yes, with clicky power. We've got, of course, the light gun. Remember the light gun? And it did look like a gun. Yes, the rectangle. And let's see. So we've got Iron Tank, of course. It's the original Super Mario. And I played this one, Dragon Warrior, old RPG. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You know what it is. Now this one, most people don't. I don't know how many people know this one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Do you know if you know Breakout? This is my favorite one. Everyone's favorite. Boy and his Blob. Oh yeah. Know about all these. Yoshi's Cookie. Mm-hmm. Now we got to do. I wonder if we'll have to do a just a gaming stream of the NES. Marble Madness. This is actually super fun. Anybody who hasn't played Marble Madness. And then Fester's Quest. This is not unplayable, but this one is pretty bad. Pretty bad. But you hear all these little clanks. That's video games. That's what video games used to sound like. For all of you 19-year-olds and 15-year-olds playing Fortnite, not listening to the light gun going like this. Marble Madness was fire. And for more Nintendo Entertainment System ASMR clicking noises, so we've got, you know, of course, the power button. Everybody likes this. The opening and closing of the enclosure, the ejection of the game. Putting it back in. Nope. Listen to all this. You had to hear all those sounds to play video games back in the day. You had to do rituals and stuff. Anyway, that was fun. Let's get back to painting. Yeah. Twilight Princess. I mean, the like you could still hear, like, I think, okay, think back. what's the last system that you heard analog sounds like that? I think if you really think about it, the GameCube, like when you had to open the hatch of the GameCube, because after that it was the Wii where you put the disc in, and the bet that you could hear the disc going in, but it was just the motor of it. But the last like clicky sound that you used to hear was the GameCube lid going up and then closing down. Tell me if I'm wrong, if that's like the last time we heard sounds when turning on our game systems. And even the GameCube also had when you click the power button, it was an audible, or it was like an audible click that you could definitely say was like unique to that system. Okay. I think we did a good job with the highlighting of the non-metallic metal there, by the way. The Xbox startup, I'm trying to remember what that sounded like. Are you talking about the Xbox, the original Xbox? So like the green, like the blob thing that went like this. That was like. Is that what you mean? And it's like thunder sounds. Did we have a click? Was it like a button like that, or was it or was it just the disc going and then spinning? Paid €13 for what? Ooh, Vintage Story. Messed up a little bit here. Okay. We keep going. Kitten Space Agency? Is that a game? Is it a game on like PC? What is that? I'm super curious now. Messing up pretty severely on this little highlight, but you can fix it. Wait, that's the official sequel to that game? And also, I don't know what the Kerbal Space Program is. I'm sorry. Oh. That's crazy. By the way, how's this going? I think this is coming along really well. We've been talking about some good topics. I haven't been paying attention too much to the painting, but I think we're getting pretty good results right now. Yeah, it's focus time. I appreciate you guys. I'm like, oh, we're like, I gotta make it look good for them. Okay. Keep it moving. Yeah, no, it's coming along really well. It's coming along really well. But see how I was saying it at the beginning of the stream that these techniques take a long time. It should, because it's supposed to be metal. And it's going to be contrasted on the opposite side by all that red light that we're going to use from the fire that we're going to sculpt for this. So I'm excited about that too. And there really is just so much that we haven't done yet too. There's all kinds of detail that we haven't done. I've really only done like the big armor pieces. Hey, good luck on your job interview, seriously. Wishing you the best of luck. I hope that you get it. And I hope that when you do get it, you get a higher salary than you were originally hoping for. Good luck. I think that I'm gonna go ahead and call it also here in a second, because we're approaching the hour-and-a-half to 2-hour mark, and I'm gonna have to hop off here. But oh my gosh, I'm so happy that so many people showed up today. I appreciate all of you. So let's take a quick look at how we did so far today. So we started the blending process on everywhere and started the work on the non-metallic metal pieces like the Aquila and the shoulder. Next time we're gonna keep pushing keep pushing it and keep doing the same thing that we're doing, but on more areas. It's a long and tedious process, but it's going to be well worth it in the end. But I'm super excited. Thanks so much, you guys, for hanging out with me. Good night, everybody. Let's take a look at this guy one more time. That's kind of, why is it turning it blue? Well, anyway. No, it does skip sometimes. Sorry about that. But good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow on another fun stream. See you next time.